Hello, I'm Scott Denniston. I have the pleasure of serving as the Director of the Office of Small Business and Director of the Center for Veterans Enterprise for the Department of Veterans Affairs. Thank you for taking time today from what I know is a very busy schedule to learn a little bit more about the programs that we offer for veteran and service-disabled veteran-owned businesses. You know, there's no greater titles than you can hold in America than the title of veteran and the title of entrepreneur. And we have the privilege of serving those that hold both titles. And we need your help. The Congress has put on all federal agencies goals for contract awards to service-disabled veterans, and on our large prime contractors, goals for not only service-disabled veterans, but also veterans in business. Veterans are a tremendous resource to our nation. We as a government, we as a society have invested millions and millions of dollars in their training. Not only that, but those of us that are veterans are disciplined, we're skilled, we follow a system, and we know how to get the job done. And today we have the opportunity to show you some successful veteran entrepreneurs. And I would ask you to please look at the tape and think about how these veterans and veterans like them can fit into the goods and services that you need in order to complete your missions.
I grew up in Minnesota originally, and spent many, days in the hot summers on the lake. And I thought, what a great place to start a career on the ocean and aboard a ship. Served in the United States Navy. Spent 15 years in the submarine force. Aboard a submarine, it's a different world, and you get close to those folks, probably closer than your family. You don't have a lot of latitude to disagree or not get along with somebody. You're in a confined space, and you have to work it out. And so those skills have definitely transferred into the Sullivan business environment. The name of the company is Sullivan International Group. Sullivan started out in the industrial health and safety sector in the commercial environment, and we actually initially provided outsourced services for either program support or actually turnkey full program support. We'd actually have people on staff within those companies. Today, Sullivan has over 130 employees. We're projecting by the end of the year we should hit about 200. In 2004, we were recognized as the Inc. 500 number 7 fastest growing company in the country. And really that growth was based on a 4-year average of nearly 2,000% growth. The development of our plans and kind of our core infrastructure for our company, I truly believe is a byproduct of my education within the military. You know, the military is a great place, and I have wonderful memories, and I think I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was a great experience for me.
I signed up back in September '72 with the Army. I went in as an enlisted person, made the rank of Sergeant First Class, and then became a warrant officer and retired as a Warrant Officer 3. My main job in the military was a personnel officer. What you learn from the military is to perform under pressure. I had to be truthful to my commander. I had to be truthful to my soldiers, tell them what I could do for them and not what I wanted to do. Whether you're coming in from the military environment or from another commercial entity, then you still know that you're under pressure to deliver. And the military kind of prepares you a little bit more, because from the time you get in as a young man, 18 years old, you have the drill sergeant making sure you do everything right. It's a good place to get some discipline, number one. Number two, you get some good training. In addition to that, there's school training. You join the Army. They say some good schools. Silver Star Technologies was born or created, whatever word you want to use, back in '99. The company started by going after contracts at Fort Detrick. And one of the first contracts we received was a contract with decontamination systems that we sold in Europe to the Air Force. We took our skill sets to go after the business based on what we could do. VetBiz, they have helped us in a lot of ways because they have put us in front of different organizations, and I use their services all the time. I go into their website and see what conferences are coming up, what they're offering veterans, so that's where you start doing your homework. I mean, I have a good relationship with them, and I would recommend them to anybody I work with.
I served on active duty in the United States Navy for 9.5 years. I attended the Naval Academy for the first 4 years and then did an additional 9.5 years on active duty, followed by another 4 years actually in the reserves after that. Veterans are an excellent hire. They come with an awful lot of skills that you can't teach until you're out there doing the work. The military affords young officers, young enlisted people, a lot of responsibility at a very young age. So by the time they leave the service, they have skills that other people graduating from college or coming out of high school can't possibly bring to the organization. You know, what other organization is going to graduate someone and put me in charge of almost 500 people at 21 years old? I remember walking down onto the training deck and they were having a formation, and I had just arrived on board this duty station. And when I looked at this sea of sailors, some of them could be as old as my father, and I was going to be in charge of all these people. My knees knocked together several times, and I kept saying to myself, I can't let them see this. The academy taught me to be strong. I had all 4 children on active duty. I would say that there is a place for family and the service. One of the reasons I started my own company was I wanted to be able to deliver what I promised. When a customer came to me with a problem, whether it's at 12 o'clock in the afternoon or 12 o'clock at night, I'm available 24 hours a day. Again, something that the Navy taught me. I'm on duty 24 hours a day. I'm primarily a government contractor, and as a government contractor, the work doesn't stop once the government closes at 4:30 in the afternoon. We now have close to 80 employees in the company. Everything I do has ethics about it.
I was at Fort Riley, Kansas. I was assigned to the Big Red 1 for about 9 months. I was a corpsman, was transferred to MEDAC, which is Darnell Army Hospital at Fort Hood, Texas, and I worked in the ER there for the remainder of my career in the military. It taught me the integrity, character, responsibility, and respect, which all young people need to learn at an early age. It has propelled me in my business and helped me grow my business and have camaraderie with other business partners. I work hard. I give 110%, no matter if I make 10 cents or $1,000 an hour. I was brought up that way. My dad was military. The rewarding experience I had in the military, of course, was saving lives.
I became the Deputy Corps Commander of the ROTC Corps, and I was commissioned in the Field Artillery. I went to Fort Benning, Georgia, to Airborne School. I was a Fire Support Officer, and then to Ranger School, and then to Korea. We were flying to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and we had problems with our aircraft, and we crashed in a helicopter. What hurt me the most was knowing that we were going down, and I looked across, and my lieutenants were across, and some of the men that I'd served with were sitting across from me, and looking in their eye, I could just see the fright in their eye. It killed 10 of my soldiers. I was a senior ranking officer on board, and 8 of them survived. And that experience, I spent off and on 10 months in the hospital, 12 surgeries, and I used a wheelchair for a short period of time. And I really didn't know or think about what I would do with my life once I exited the military. But through the VA, I went through their vocational rehabilitation program. They evaluate what your interests are vocationally and check your aptitude through assessments to see what type of career field you're compatible with. And so I was real congruent with being a counselor. And so that's what we do today. We provide counseling, transition counseling, once the soldiers come from the Transition Assistance Program, and we also provide employment services. One thing that the Veterans Administration is doing, and the Small Business Administration, is an initiative to assist veterans that are getting out of the military, helping them and giving them information and resources to start their own businesses. And VetBiz provides the majority of that for me. I get their brochures and their pamphlets, and I pass that on to my veterans and tell them, you're not in this by yourself. There are so many things in the military that I learned, and also the service members that I provide service to in the military, that you will get nowhere else.
Congress has mandated that all federal agencies award 3% of prime contract and subcontract dollars to service disabled veteran-owned businesses. We in the Department of Veterans Affairs, because of our special mission to support veterans in all of their walks of life, have established and imposed a 7% goal of our prime contract awards to veteran-owned businesses. But the real reason that we want to provide opportunities for veterans and service-disabled veterans is because they're a tremendous national resource. We as a country have invested mightily in training, in growth and development of veterans, our men and women who serve in uniform. When those men and women in uniform decide to leave the military, and if they decide to start a small business, it's a natural fit that they would want to do business with the federal government. After all, they know the Department of Defense. And quite frankly, many of them hold security clearances because of their work in the military that other contractors don't have. And as we know, after 9/11, security clearances are a major issue in federal contract awards. The biggest reason, though, that we want to support veteran and service-disabled veteran-owned businesses is because they have the qualities of successful entrepreneurs. They're dedicated, they're committed to their mission, and they want to help those of us in government fulfill our mission. The question becomes, how do I, as a government manager, find out about the veterans programs? Or more importantly, how do I find veteran and service-disabled veterans that can help me fulfill my mission? I would encourage you to contact the Center for Veterans Enterprise. It's a very small but very dedicated staff that works to help match veteran and service-disabled veteran-owned businesses with your needs, whether you're a government agency or whether you're a large contractor that supports the government. So please contact the CVE and allow us to show you the great qualities that we have in veteran and service-disabled veteran-owned businesses. Thank you.